And all this movie is doing is proving what some of us have been telling people like you watching this for 6 years, 7 years now, if you just would have listened. This threat is real, and there are real children that are really being raped and molested and are really being trafficked all across the United States, and truth be known, across the world. Mr. Ballard's experience has been, he sounded like I saw an interview with him the other day. He sounded like a Van Helsing, almost like, I'm a pedo hunter. And I went, yeah! Can I see here? Maybe Biden should send Mr. Ballard some ammo. What little ammo we have left, can we send some to the pedo hunters? But here's what's happening with Sound of Freedom. Americans are, for the first time, mainstream middle-class Americans are for the first time hearing and seeing this battle that's going on between good and evil. And there is an evil side, and it's filled with perverted, pederast, rat bastards. Some of the most powerful and influential people in the world. They have access to almost anything that they want. And what is it that they choose? They choose the forbidden, tender, innocent fruit that is children. Why? Because the devil made them do it. At the end of the day, this is civilization being turned literally upside down and flipped. You want to see what it was like before Christ came into this world? I don't think you want to, but you're going to. That's what you're seeing now. The Sound of Freedom, the film, just kind of gives you a peek. And again, I think for the first time, your average middle-class American has to come face to face with the fact that there are sex trafficking perverts living amongst us, walking amongst us. You probably even know some. That's something that is disturbing, but it's also true. And the movie The Sound of Freedom is just kind of making that point to people. And you can tell by the reaction of the usual suspects. Oh, this is a bunch of Q-Anon nonsense. You know, when they can't defend, you know, when they've been busted, right? And it's all out in the open. They have to go to the conspiracy theory. You know, it's all a bunch of Alex Jones kind of wackos. These people are crazies. They're sillies. No, those children are actually being trafficked. The government knows about it. The federal government is in on it in some agencies and some levels. People that have the loftiest positions in our society, this is what they choose to do with that power. That can only be because of one reason. And it's not because of lust. And it's not just because they're sexually depraved or what have you here. It's because they have either very consciously or have in some way subconsciously made the proverbial deal with the devil. And you know what the devil wants? The devil doesn't want man on woman, regular old, let's have sex and make babies and further the civilization sex. It must be jaundiced and it must be perverted. Because the author of the natural way is God. And God must be maximum offended. And all the Sound of Freedom is doing is showing that these people exist, and they exist in numbers that no one wanted to believe. I don't want to believe it. But it's the truth. And that is the truth, my friends. That is long overdue in telling. I look forward to seeing, really, seriously, how does this play out? Does this ultimately lead to public institutions where these people work as groomers and have underlings that work as groomers under them? Does it ultimately lead to an end to the era of the pedo groomer?